Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at a community replay. In today's replay we are featuring Ihsasum. He is playing in the Scharnhorst, and he is going to show us a very nice replay in the Scharnhorst, and it'll show pretty much why I love the Scharnhorst in nearly every aspect. If you would like to send us a replay, send it to BIAworldofwarships at gmail.com. Please include the screenshots, the replay itself, as well as a short description. Additionally, if you would like Sneaky Snake to do a very in-depth match analysis where he takes your replay and commentates on it and tells you the things you did wrong or even did right from his perspective and from his mindset. So if you do want to send on a replay, send all of the previous information, like a community replay, except in the title or the subject of the video or of the email, say match analysis Sneaky Snake, something like that. So early on we get one nice full pen on that Sims, and we're going to be pushing up to A cap. Our destroyers are forgoing the cap for whatever reason. It's a bit odd when you have a Saipan on your team versus a Hiryu, and especially if the Saipan has double fighters, which our Saipan does have. So bit questionable on the moves of the DDs thus far, but of course we are not going to worry about the DDs too much. The only things they have here is that Sims in the middle, there be a Minakaze at D, and the other Sims is at D. So we don't really have any destroyers to worry about at the moment. So again, questionable as to what our destroyers are doing. This is always the question nowadays, isn't it? So we're just gonna kind of back up here. I actually like this position that he has here. He's somewhat aggressive, and he's positioning himself where if he needs to go behind cover, he can. That's one of the benefits of this little island here, is you can peek up, shoot, take some damage, and since you are right next to the cap, you can radar if you had a radar, like in New Orleans or Indianapolis, Belfast, Atlanta, etc. You know, these ships are all very good at utilizing this position and getting a lot of damage, especially for the Atlanta and something like a Flint that need to be somewhat closer to the cap and closer to the enemies without you know, exposing too much of your side. So that's a good position here, and once he sees that the KGV is pushing up, well, it's a good time to go support him. So again, another good play by him. No, Königsberg is starting to shoot at us. Well, we will show him what our 11-inch German guns can do. Of course, we have AP loaded. For the most part, the AP on the Scharnhorst is actually quite good. We get a Citadel there, but for the most part, I think it's still a battleship, so you should pretty much always stick to AP unless it's like a kiting battleship. So that's pretty much the rule of thumb in my opinion. Even destroyers, you can just have AP loaded, because that's most of the time what you have loaded. Again, battleship-esque mentality here. You know, okay, we got AP loaded to shoot at cruisers or somewhat broadside battleships, so if a DD pops up, we're going to shoot at him with our AP. We're not going to wait for the reload, which I believe is 18 seconds. Yeah, it is 18 seconds. So if you got expert loader, which I could actually see being a somewhat popular perk on this ship, then you would get your reload down to 9 seconds when your shells are fully loaded. So that could be something that is something to think about if you are looking to shoot a destroyer. That way you can get a little bit more consistent damage, so to say, with the HE. But in any case, again, I want to also apologize. I kind of been talking too much, I guess, but I also want to apologize because for some reason, again, like my last video yesterday, the sound did not for whatever reason record, so I'll most likely put some music in the background of this video, and sorry, we'll have to wait for the next one. I don't know if it's because I recently just got a new SSD because it's Black Friday here, and that's part of the reason I got a new SSD. So I'm like, okay, well, might as well throw, you know, well, the Warships and actually download it through Steam, because I like Steam. Steam's a good game posting app, I guess you could call it, or just a general game hub. And I figured, well, I probably have well over 1,000 hours, if not more, on this game already. Might as well see how much I can suck up with Steam actually enabled, so I can actually see how many hours I'm putting into the game, I guess per week. But regardless, that's just kind of something that I like, and I think that might be part of the reason why some of this is occurring. Don't know, but hopefully we'll get it fixed rather soon. So again, apologize about that. We've got B, the Colorado and Leander on the enemy team is out in C1 and 2, so they're no threat at the moment. So we're gonna go into B and help our team because they are loosened over there a little bit. Pretty much their whole fleet over there died. It looked like only 1 or 2 of them were able to retreat. So we're gonna be helping them out. Of course, the enemy team is deathballing quite hard, so that's kind of a decent reason as to why they are getting steamrolled so hard. But here we're going to be going to be, honestly, I think maybe the better choice would have been to go with the King George. The only other option that could actually be very, very nice is going through this gap and just sitting at basically the sector F6 and just waiting around that corner. And when you start taking a lot of heat, then you can move forward. But of course, the Sims is not making it easy, so just constantly being a nuisance here and a possible torpedo threat. So that's probably going to be off limits for now. The other option is actually just sit right here. But then again, you have the Sims right there, so have to be very careful in your positioning. So I think we're going to end up just going around, being a little bit more safer option. And again, that's completely fine. It's just, in my opinion, if you can get broadsides on enemy battleships, that's where you do the best, or broadsides on enemy cruisers, or anything broadside. That's the most optimal situation you have. And if you can get in somewhat of a brawling fight, since you do have that better reload than most battleships, and it's not quite as good as a lot of cruisers at this tier, since most of them are light cruisers, but some of the heavier reloading cruisers, like the let's see, at tier 7 we have the Miyoko. That's I think a 12-second reload, I want to say, on those 2 or 3s. So again, it's not too far off 18 seconds. And if you got adrenaline rush, well, that can go down quite quickly. Sims pops up around the corner. It doesn't look like our Nicholas is interested in helping us, so, well, what is he going to do? He's going to chase after the carrier. Seeing if we can't get any shell hits, and unfortunately we did not there. However, follow-up salvo is looking good. 1 shell hit maybe. Yes, 1 shell hit and a cap reset. Could be turning around here. I think if I were the Sims, I would maybe smoke up. I think the carrier's planes are able to spot me, and unfortunately it looks like we're gonna take a torpedo turn. These are the slower torpedoes, it looks like. Yep, we're gonna take one right on the ass, and we're going to have to repair that pretty soon here. But of course, we are going to kill the Sims right there, which is nice. A bit of a misplay by the Sims, and we don't have to worry about his torpedoes anymore, which is good. Of course, the carrier is still alive and still a very possible threat, so we have to be mindful of that. I don't know what Ihsasum, I think that Well, I apologize for messing up your name, but Ihsasum, I'll just say that from now, is... I don't know what he's running in terms of AA. I know on my Scharnhorst I do like to run my Hindi captain, which previously from Clan Wars I did run manual AA, and that was one of those... This was one of those ships that has some really nasty AA for the tier. Of course, when you get up tier to tier 9, like, there's no match at all, but the tier 7 aircraft carriers, they do get a run for their money with the Scharnhorst. So something to just keep in mind if you are looking for a main Scharnhorst captain. I know that's not always optimal, but well, yeah. So our Saipan looks like he was not paying attention. He did manage to get a clear sky thus far, which again isn't too bad, but it doesn't matter if you get a clear sky if you're dead, because you still need the striking power. In any case, their hero is almost dead, and our team is slowly throwing this game away. Our Nicholas, for some reason, was not able to kill the hero, even though he should have had torpedoes loaded. He probably could have killed him in one salvo of torpedoes, if not two, for sure. But he eventually gets him. Hopefully he doesn't die to like burning out or anything like that, but he's probably going to be somewhat useless. So as of right now, KGV looks like he's going down. The Gaida, he's still at pretty much full health, but again, he's somewhat surrounded, so he's going to have some trouble. And the guy, from what I remember of the Gaida, it is not a very good ship, at least in my opinion. It didn't have the best torpedoes, it didn't have the best guns, so it was just kind of just a meh ship overall. So I don't think he's going to be carrying too hard over there. A nice salvo on the Cleveland for a 6k, and I believe we got one more overpen. But he is still pretty low, and he turns out a little bit, and all of those shells actually fly right over him. So we're probably just going to cap this out, and then just move on to objective, and the next objective. So hopefully we haven't lost this game too soon yet. We still have three. We will have three. We have two caps. We will have a third. They're going to be getting on A pretty quickly here. But if we can just stall them as long as possible and kind of outcap them, we can still maybe pull this back, even though our team is trying to throw this as hard as they can. With 6 minutes left, it's all very possible. Ihsasum has a good about half of his HP left, so I don't think he's too worried about that. The only thing he has to really worry about, in my opinion, would be that Cleveland spamming IFHE if he has it. But again, that Cleveland is somewhat low on health, so he shouldn't be too much of a problem to deal with. However, if the New Mexico pops around this corner, which he will, that will be somewhat troublesome. But we are already angled for that and prepared for that. Unfortunately, we didn't get the damage we wanted. You saw there 2 complete shatters, so we need to aim a little bit higher. That main armor belt on the New Mexico actually saved him, so we're gonna aim at the upper armor belt, and we're gonna get 5 nice pens for nearly 12k damage. And again, stay angled. At this range, New Mexico cannot pen me or pen him. He would have to wait just a little bit longer, but at this range, doesn't matter. Nice 8k into the superstructure by him, but follow-up salvo, 10k. We're just going to finish him off with torpedoes. Probably could have done that in the first place, but, well, whatever. So we get that kill. Now, we only lost about 15, so I think this is a little bit more than we expected. Our Nicholas is behind us, but, again, it looks like the Colorado was pretty healthy. The Nelson, well, it's a Nelson, it has that god tier heal, so something we have to watch out for. We have to probably focus the Nelson down pretty quickly, but unfortunately I don't know how this is going to pan out. It's even for a skilled player like Ihsasum, he needs to be playing at his best. I think the most important ships to be killing here right now is the Cleveland. Get the Cleveland out of the fight. And speaking of whom, we see the Cleveland right there. Shells are on their way. These are looking good. Very good dispersion. And how unfortunate. Looked like those all should have been Citadels for sure, but unfortunately I think RNG just let us down, or maybe just Wargaming hates us. Either way, this should be the finishing salvo here. It's looking good, and we do get the kill, which is good. However, we are only on 11k HP. Our heal is down, our repair party is down, and well, we've got people on both sides of us, so not much we can do here. Just hope for the best. Heals or repair party is gonna come up here pretty soon. Oh, we are just so close to dying, and we end up just being able to hold our own. I think the best option here is just to ram ourselves right into the island and basically just wait, or just full on charge the Nelson. I think that's the best option, because right now we've got the Colorado coming up on our side, and the Nelson that is also coming right at us. So I think the best option might be just to charge, but I don't think we can make this turn. No, we definitely cannot make this turn, so we're just going to have to wait it out here, and hopefully our Nicholas can stall for as long as possible. We are on the points lead, though. We have a nice point lead, but, well, it's going to be close. Got about a 90-point lead. Torpedoes away. Nelson is turning out. Uh-oh. Did he launch them too soon? He might have just launched them a little too soon. I would have held them for a little bit longer. And now I think it's do or die time, and it's dying time for sure. As soon as that Nelson turns to get his third gun into play, this is all but over. Oh boy. You can see death right upon you. Oh! There's two Citadels. We are still in business. If we can maybe get some bounces here. Oh, no, Colorado ends up getting us. So I think a little bit of a misplay there at the end. I think if we held our torpedoes for just a few seconds longer and force the Nelson to get around, I think we might have had that. Alright guys, so looking at the post-battle results, we ended up losing. The Nicholas ended up smoking, sitting in his smoke, and then trying to torpedo the Colorado, which, well, that certainly ended in his death. But in any case, 330,000 credits, 2.5k XP, only a Confederate, but 113,000 damage. Got some torpedo hits, got a lot of few Citadels here and there. You can see there, 3 of those. 3 base defense, a solo base cap, 3 assisted base caps, and, well, 33 secondary hits isn't too bad. 16-16 is the base XP for this match, which, considering the highest person on the other team got 1867, only about a 250 points difference. That, well, I think we did pretty good for ourselves here. A detailed report: 33,000 from 3,000 from secondary battery. Torpedoes though, 11k to finish off that New Mexico, and again most of our damage was from our AP. Didn't get to see a lot of HE usage here. For the most part, that's how I play the Scharnhorst as well. Not a lot of HE usage, but 1.5 million potential damage for a tier 7 battleship. It's good. Yeah, I think that's a good number to aim for. It's certainly not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. I think that's a nice, solid, good, a little above average, at least in my opinion. Damage received 100k, so I believe this Scharnhorst has 56k, so an additional 45-ish K, which again is almost, it's 85% of your health. So again, that's